Hey everybody, happy Friday and welcome to another edition of The Daily here with Greg Lawless. I'm Nick Fershaw, looking first at the final of 3 CONCACAF Champions League quarterfinal games involving MLS teams this week. This time it was the LA Galaxy's turn Thursday night down in Costa Rica at Herediano. A 0-0 draw in the end. The Galaxy will take that back to LA next week, but a lot of people saying they should have gotten a result out of this
Well,
one.
they either should have gotten a result or they should have lost, considering what happened at the very end of the game. So the big talking points in this one, Mike McGee sent in, he puts the ball away in the lower corner, but he's flagged for offside. Replays showed he was about 1.5 feet onside. The linesman got this one wrong, absolutely. And understandably, the LA Galaxy were livid about it after the game. Later in the game, though, in the 89th minute, there's a penalty called. Herediano go down in the box, a total dive. Sean Franklin with a little bit of a clip here like that, and that's it. He goes down with a dive, but the Herediano player actually slams it off the crossbar. It's the second time they hit the crossbar on the day. Mike McGee also hit the crossbar for the Galaxy. So it was strange. It was kind of a slow, boring game, but there were these flash points that happened that made it kind of exciting. I think the Galaxy will be happy with 0-0. They'll go home, and they can get the victory at home, and they can put this away.
Ends in a scoreless draw. The second leg, again, back at the Home Depot Center next Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern on Fox Soccer. The LA Galaxy trying to make it to the CONCACAF Champions League semifinals. Well, the first of a handful of games on national television this weekend, the debut of the New England Revolution. They're at the Chicago Fire. Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on the NBC Sports Network. Andrew Farrell, the #1 pick in the MLS Super Draft, one of the headliners here. But again, this is the debut of the Revs. We haven't seen them yet, and they're on the road at the Chicago Fire. What do we expect?
Well, I think that the Revolution have retooled a little bit in the offseason. You know, they got rid of Benny Feilhaber, so then they brought in Khalifa Cisse. I think it's going to be a little bit of a harder midfield. In fact, down in Tucson in the preseason, I spoke to Jay Heaps, and he talked about how last year they went very, very far to get lots of skillful players. He said maybe we went a little too far in trying to change the culture of the club. He had to go and get a couple more harder players in order to really succeed. So some of those players will come in. I expect Andrew Farrell maybe to get the start as well, so that would be interesting. From a Chicago side, they have to put away that 4-0 drubbing they took away to the LA Galaxy in opening weekend. They got to get that out of their heads and try and come back at home and get a result.
Still no Arne Friedrich in this one for the Fire. He is their defensive anchor, so they're going to look to Jeff Lorenowitz a little bit more as the captain once again, a former New England Revolution player and a star for the Revs. This rivalry used to be a really good one back in the day. We'll see if they can kickstart it again this year. The Revs and the Fire, Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on the NBC Sports Network. Well, New York Red Bulls on national television for the second consecutive week. They're at San Jose on Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. The Quakes still without some of those superstars, Alan Gordon and Steven Lenhart, and back at home for the second consecutive week after that loss to RSL. What do we expect from the New York Red Bulls and the Quakes?
Well, I think the Red Bulls will try and do the same thing that they did last week early on against Portland. However, they will be without Juninho, and that makes a big difference for them, I think, in the midfield. From the San Jose side, they basically just need to put away whatever happened last week. Chris Wondolowski needs to put away goals. That's the key for them. They still created lots of chances last week, but they need to start putting them away. And I'll be honest with you, I really, really miss not seeing Steven Lenhart. I mean, he is just one of those players I love to watch. You love to hate him, but you love to watch him. So I wish you were going to be out there in this one as well.
2 other national TV games to mention up in Canada. Toronto FC, the home debut of Ryan Nelson. They're up against Sporting Kansas City on Saturday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. And then on Sunday on Unimas, it's Chivas USA at home against Dallas. That one's at 5 p.m. Eastern. Before we go, I want to say a big welcome to Corey Gibbs, our brand new correspondent. He's looking at the top 5 performances for new head coaches in their debut weeks. This is 5 new coaches in MLS, and he's ranking the best and the worst. A mixed bag for some of those
guys.
It's a
little early, but what are you going to do?
But you can find that on MLSsoccer.com, as well as the latest edition of Extra Time Radio. Podcast came out on Thursday. It's a good one with Carlos Ruiz from DC United talking about his exit from Philly, how many teams wanted him, and the U.S. national team.
And the fact that I still think that Pescadito is going to score 10 goals this year. He didn't talk about that, but I'm just throwing it out there to begin with.
You can find that on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Buzzsprout. That does it for us. We'll see you again on The Daily on Monday.